Hello, people of YouTube.
Hi,
I am American McGee,
I'm Martin.
and we are coming to you semi-live from Shanghai, China, where it appears that the internet gremlins are once again nibbling on our cables.
Bloody gremlins.
This is quite annoying. I'm hoping that we're getting through to you without too much lag, but if you do experience lag, there's not much we can do about that because we are connected through the VPN to Hong Kong. We're getting 200 megabits down.
If only that was the number we cared about.
And we're getting 20 or 30 up, but
It wasn't that high. It was
well,
at least 10. That was just plenty, though.
anyway, there's some lag in the system. So anyway, it doesn't matter. We've got a lot to catch up on today, even if we have to do it through tremendous amounts of lag. What are we doing today, Martin?
I can hear but not see. Ooh.
That's a really unusual one.
What are we doing today? We have a lot of art.
We do.
We're going to talk a little bit about Pirate Jam.
Pirate Jam.
Pirate Jam.
Oi, ahoy, mateys.
What else are we doing? Prizes, giveaways.
What are we giving away for prizes, Martin?
Actually, Pirate Jam bag.
You know that the proper parlance in piratey terms is pirate booty.
It's actually,
This is a Pirate Jam dry bag. We gave these away to people who attended the event this year, and they're actually pretty nifty. It's a big old 20. See if you can fit that over your head there, Martin.
Probably could.
It's a 20-liter dry bag. That means it has a roll-up waterproof top. It's made out of some sort of. Are you trying to get high off of that?
You really could.
Yeah.
It's like sparking memories when you go to the seaside as a kid and you get a rubber ring.
Oh,
or
I thought you
something.
were going to talk about like your club days.
No.
Okay.
It's that exact smell.
Well, there you go. So yeah, that is a waterproof bag, which was given out to the people who attended Pirate Jam this year. It's actually a pretty useful thing for them since they're carrying around their cameras, their phones, their laptops, and all kinds of other digital goodies they'd rather not have destroyed by salt water and sand. They're all given one of those. Anyway, you can get one of those today as well. We'll give away
Wendy
4 of those.
if they are actually waterproof.
They are very waterproof. They are indeed. Well, we had them field tested by an entire group of pirates. This is actually the second year that we have made these kinds of bags. Last year, the bags were black and they had a different logo on them. But this year, we have made them yellow. And this is a logo that our good friend Alex Crowley did up. The reason I changed the color to yellow was A, it's nice looking. I think it looks pretty cool. And B, it's high visibility because last year, believe it or not, we nearly lost a handful of our pirates in the midst of a storm. And I realized that with them out there in the water or on the water at that point, fortunately they were not in the water, but they were out in the water, on the water, in a storm at night. And there was very little visibility. And I thought, boy, wouldn't it be nice if they all had with them high visibility things? And so this year we all got yellow bags.
Were you telling me, was it this year or last year, where you actually had to tell people how to do the bags properly? Because one person didn't roll it well enough and it wasn't waterproof.
That's correct. We did have to tell people how to roll up the bags because, yeah, if you don't roll the top the right way, water will get inside.
Oh, no.
And so this year, though, fortunately, that was a part of the orientation meeting. This is a shot taken by some of our pirates. I think this was Colin and Sarah that took some really nice photos during the event. This was sunrise over what was called Chong Lat Tai. That's an island, Ko Chong Lat Tai. Anyway, if you're interested in Pirate Jam, you can go and check out pirate-jam.com. But yeah, we did give people instruction on how to use their waterproof bags this year. And as a result, I think that no digital items suffered any death.
Excellent.
So yeah, there is a Pirate Jam website. You can go there. You can check out what we get up to every year. You can actually sign up to join us if you are a game developer. And when I say that, I mean, as long as you know how to build a fairly basic thing in Unity, you could qualify to join us out on one of these adventures. And this year, we've so far uploaded 2 episodes of Pirate Jam Adventures, episode 1 and 2, because there are 2.
They're really good. Quality is excellent on these videos these days.
I think they turned out really nice this year. And there's also quite a few of the games from this year that have been uploaded, though it feels to me like this one was not made during our... So we did leave this open. This jam was open for any people who wanted to upload something could upload a game to the itch.io repository.
So was that not from one of the pirates this year?
These
appeared on the page.
No, these are from people who are going to the jam in a virtual sense. You can upload a project to the jam page on itch.io because we made it public. That's fine. People do that.
All right.
So, in fact, Burt Roger and Turn-Based Rogue Space Privateer and Rogue 3, these 3 games did not come from our jam attendees. In fact, the only 2 that did, this is Sarah Northway. That would be her, in fact, in the picture. There she is.
All right.
She's sat up there on the deck of the boat called Gone Surfing.
I thought I saw someone doing that roguelike stuff in episode 2.
Yes, someone is doing that.
But it wasn't that
but
one.
But it's not that one. No. So we will get the rest of the games put up. I think the one that, there were a few that made me laugh quite a lot, but one that made me laugh a huge amount was the one done by Evan Greenwood, and it features, and I think you can actually see some footage of that in episode 2, but it features...
Looks fun.
It's the little pink consumer floppy doll things. I hope that they'll put that up on the site because it was really funny. And it's
pretty funny.
Yeah, they did a good job. All right, so that's Pirate Jam. That's where I've been for the last couple weeks, and so if you want to see that, there you go. There's videos on the website. You can go and sign up to become a pirate. And, of course, today we're going to be giving away some Pirate Jam booty.
Excellent stuff.
There you go.
We're just too good to these guys.
We are. Well, before we jump into art review, anything else we need to mention?
Ooh. No.
Okay. Well, let's just jump right into it. So, first up, this is modular dresses. This has been a hotly debated topic during our weekly crowd design sessions.
Yeah.
Crowd design is what we do on our Discord server. Our Discord server you can access by becoming a patron. And once a week, at least when I'm not traveling, we do talk about the design of the game. And one of the things that's being talked about right now is the fact that she's got so many dresses. And then this concept of whether or not you can have free and easy access. You describe it. How would you describe this issue?
Did I describe it as power creep?
No, I just mean in terms of the problem we're trying. Okay, I'll describe it. So the problem is that Alice has got a tremendous number of dresses in Alice Asylum. I think thus far we've designed probably over 10 or 12 of them.
It's a lot.
From my perspective as the writer of the narrative for the game, I would like it if we present the dresses along with the chapters. In essence, the chapter 1 dress would be, say, for instance, the denial dress. And then there might be that this is the chapter 2 dress, this is the classic dress. I mean, that's not the actual case, but my point is, for me, from a narrative perspective, I would like to lock these to the chapters. Now, a lot of our players are saying, no, it's my game, let me wear whatever dress I want to, whatever I want to, damn it. And what Omri has come up with here is that a kind of hybrid. You'd get the dress and it comes with a skull. And now let's say you go from chapter 1 to chapter 2, you'd be able to take the skull and slap it onto the chapter 2 dress. That way you can bring with you the power from the chapter 1 dress into chapter 2 or 3 or any subsequent chapters. But in terms of the dress you're wearing, it would only be the dress that we had assigned to that chapter up until the point you finished the game, at which time you could then replay and choose whatever dress wherever you wanted. So this was the concept of modular dresses.
But some people have certainly said they want the aesthetics whenever they want. They might like the look of a certain dress.
This is the debate.
It's tricky.
Yes.
It's going to take a bit of figuring out. I can see both sides of the story.
This is true. Yeah.
Sorry, Sean Carey super chats. Thank you for that. Can you spend a few minutes explaining why you chose to go with Unreal rather than Unity? I'm always curious as to why AAA game companies don't use Unity as much as indie developers do. I wasn't aware that any decision had been made.
Well, but in the past. So if you look at, say, Alice Madness Returns, at the period in time where we made Alice Madness Returns, we did have a choice between Unreal 3 or Unity. Now, that was 6-7 years ago.
Wasn't Unity not so great back then?
Yeah, well, so at that time, Unity was definitely an engine you saw used much more by mobile developers. And one of the reasons would have been it had a lot smaller footprint. In other words, you could make a game and have it be only a few megabytes in size for the basic core of Unity to be there and to run a game, especially if it was like a 2D game. Whereas the basic core for an Unreal game at that time was 100 megabytes. And 100 megabytes was a big no-no when it came to download sizes for mobile games. Now, these days, perhaps getting up into the 100 megabyte size for a download on a mobile game is not that big of a deal. But back in the day, it was certainly the case that a 100 megabyte download for a mobile game was essentially would cut out 99% of your potential audience because no one wanted to spend the time to download something like that. On the flip side, at that time, the Unity toolset just didn't offer all the bells and whistles as far as animation and physics and particle effects and screen effects and optimization for various consoles, plug and play on various consoles, the map editing tools, the ability for incredibly high density meshes to be displayed in an optimized fashion, you name it, right? There were a lot of things about Unreal at that time in terms of feature set, incredibly dense, incredibly sophisticated, that Unity simply did not have. Now, in the time since, Unity has more than caught up. I think, I'm looking at some of the more recent things they've done in terms of materials, physics, animation, AI, machine learning stuff that you can now plug into Unity. I mean, it's just incredible, the breadth of the tool set. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that so many indie developers picked up the tool set some years ago and began becoming, contributors to the ecosystem. And now a lot of the work that they've done continually gets wrapped back into the main product. And so Unity's doing a pretty good job of catching up.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's very long. Yeah. He did give us $20.
He did.
So I thought I'd give him a $20 answer.
So yeah, back in the day, it weren't good. But now it is. It could be a choice.
Back in the day, Unity was great for what Unity was. It just wasn't great for if you wanted to make a big AAA game, right? So I think that would be the explanation as to why.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Alice on Elm Street jumps in with a super chat. Thank you very much. Similar to the moddable dresses, what if each dress had a specific weapon that supplied the power, and that's how people could carry it over?
Well, that's just another way of looking at it. But a weapon, say for instance, fires a missile, but the idea that the weapon being in my inventory also gives me some sort of anti-gravity ability. Now, what happens? Do you have to equip that weapon in order for that ability to be on? And then if you switch to another weapon in your inventory, do you lose that? I feel like it goes into the territory of what we call overloading. In other words, a weapon serves a purpose as a weapon, and when you overload it with some other form of effect, it can lead to, at least when I'm playing a game, it can lead to a kind of frustration that, hey, I want to have that ability, but I don't necessarily want to equip that weapon. And so you've now forced the player into, well, too bad. You want to have anti-gravity, you're going to have to equip the potato launcher. What do you think?
It's more complicated than it sounds, isn't it?
Yeah.
You think, oh, let's have a game, and there's dresses, and there's weapons, and there's powers, and it sounds simple in your head. And then you think about it, and you have to try and pin it down, and it's like, actually, how are we going to do that? How's that going to work?
Well, I think what Omri has suggested here helps to solve this to some degree. It does mean you've got an interface, and you've got a slot on the back of your dress, and it means that, players can take the power between domains that a particular dress granted. So say it's stealth or it's swimming underwater, and they can slot that into a dress in a different domain. I don't know that this was a problem that was looking for a solution, to be honest with you. I think that the problem we had originally gone after in terms of trying to solve was we had so many dresses and people were asking, why can't I take my dresses with me wherever I want to go? And again, my answer is it's not that we necessarily want to limit your choice, but at the same time, I think we want to be able to present a product that has a distinct narrative vision, an art vision, and execute on that and do it in a way that feels consistent and not like, I don't know, it's just kind of like a lot of times in an open world or free, games where you can kind of run around and do what you want to do. You'll see people in Grand Theft Auto, which by the way, I think is a fantastic aspect of these games, but you can go up and be really incredibly silly in the midst of a very serious mission, go kill these 20 people and burn this guy's house down. But you'll see the guy sort of dancing on the front porch and, whatever. It allows the player to take a thing out of context. And I think that for me, the dresses being swapped around out of context can break our narrative, can break the flow, at least in the first playthrough. I don't have a problem at all with the second time round, people swapping the dresses around as they want, but at least during the first play of the narrative.
Yeah. I think that it feels like that's what we might settle on. Mm-hmm. Sean Carey comes back and reiterates that he was actually talking about Alice Asylum.
Yes.
Says thought that he heard a couple of months ago you said there was a 90% chance that it would be Unreal.
I think we are currently looking at it being Unreal. It could be Unity. It could be Lumberyard. It really depends very largely on where our funding comes from. So I think I'd say I'd like it if it were Unreal because we have experience with Unreal. We know what we can do within that engine. Whether or not it ends up being Unreal, I don't know. I can say 90% that I'd like that, but it's difficult to nail this down right now because several of the conversations that are ongoing right now would involve not just a publishing partner, but also a technical solution that comes along with that partner.
Can't say much.
Well, we can say all we want, but until a deal gets done with a particular partner, there's not much that we can sort of lock down. So I don't know. I mean, to Sean Carey, to his question, I'm not sure, is this something that's critical to the audience? Is there, I guess I know there's a lot of backlash right now with regards to Epic. And of course, Epic is the maker of the Unreal Engine, and they have a store now, and a lot of gamers are unhappy about various aspects of the store. We're not involved in that debate. We're not having that conversation with Epic. We're not talking about going and being an exclusive on their platform, and adopting their technology does in no way commit us to anything with regards to the publishing or the Epic store. But I guess I'd be curious as to why, from a player or audience perspective, the question of the engine is of sort of $25 super chat interest at this point, or is it just sort of general curiosity? Any of that's fine, but if there's more to explain here, I think we're happy to explain it.
Let us know. Priscilla Nasoma super chat says, thank you very much. About the excessive number of dresses, maybe put them all as collectibles. No power for some of them, just aesthetics. Or you do a type of mission to earn the dresses.
Yes. I think that's exactly right. I mean, if we end up with too many dresses being made, but we like a lot of them, but we can't either fit them into the narrative or otherwise find a way to distribute them logically within the game, they can become DLC. Fine. And the DLC dresses don't necessarily have power. I mean, this is another one of those sticky issues that if you sell a DLC dress that allows, super potato gun power, then suddenly people get really upset that, hey, I bought this game, and yet you're monetizing a dress with a potato gun that I don't get to play through the normal game. And now, pitchforks and Yeah, so
Yep.
dangerous.
Powers and extra content is probably not great for DLC.
Exactly. All right.
There we go for the super chats. Thank you
so.
for everyone.
Very
who did
busy
those.
in the chat today.
It is. We've got a lot of people. It's not bad.
That's great.
It's all right.
Welcome, everybody. We do these live streams, we try to at least, once a week. But of course, if I'm traveling and off in Thailand for Pirate Jam, that's not going to happen. But do join us here once a week where we do giveaway prizes. We sometimes tease Martin. Sometimes Lulu joins us, but she's up in the upstairs laying in the sun. And yeah, we go through art and we talk about our projects and we try to answer your questions. And of course, we love all of you being here and are very appreciative of your support and feedback and questions. So, what
There
have
we
we
go.
here?
What do we have here? Apparently, it's kind of like a church. Is this a Norman? A Norman pick?
Well, actually, this is interesting because it is a combination of Norman and Omri.
All right.
So we have two artists. One is a Norman, one is an Omri. Norman actually just recently joined us, but he was one of the original artists on the very first Alice game. And so if you liked the design of the Mad Hatter, the Cheshire Cat, Alice herself, the Queen, the Caterpillar, pretty much you name it as far as the iconic character designs in the original Alice go, like this picture right here actually is one of Norm's original creations. This was from back in the American McGee's Alice days, and that was Norman's hand that rendered those stylizations of those characters that we now all know and love so much. And he is, thank you very much to the support of our patrons, he is back on board as one of our illustrators for Alice Madness Returns. See what the power of the crowd and lots of love and patronage does. Let's just do some pretty incredible things.
It really does. I mean, without them, we have no artists.
This is very true.
Or anything, really. So it's you guys. Thank you. Alice on Elm Street is back again. Random DLC idea. Recolors of the dresses.
Great.
Palette swaps. I think we're going to have enough dresses.
We have enough dresses. This is very true.
Double them just by palette swapping them.
And I also
too much.
think, when the dresses are done, I mean, it's important to keep in mind that a very specific design rationale goes into colors, into shapes, into the iconography, into the general design of these dresses. They're not just sort of willy-nilly, we'll make this one black and we'll make that one red. And I think were you to, though I suppose having a Cheeto orange version of all of the dresses. Anyway, we'll think about that, Alice on Elm Street. I don't think, though, that right now we're sort of at a lack of content to the point where we'd think about doing recoloring. Don't you feel like just sort of palette swapping is a signal that you don't have enough stuff?
Yeah, palette swapping gets a bad rep, doesn't it? You see people dissing it online.
I'm not a big fan.
I don't mind so much, I guess, if it's done right. I think maybe some people said that was one of the criticisms of God of War.
Right.
That one of the trolls
was just a palette swap.
It just kept turning up and it was the
Yeah.
same death animation and stuff, and
Yeah.
it just had different colors on it.
Not a big fan of that.
But,
But,
yeah.
and we've never had to do that in the Alice games previously, and I'd like to try to... I mean, because from the era that I come from, palette swapping was essentially, hey, we don't have enough memory on this device to contain all the enemies that we'd like to represent. So here's a blue one, here's a red one, here's a yellow one, All right.
Yeah.
Fluffy Rabbit.
Fluffy Rabbit says, thank you for the super chat. I like the new game Plus dress idea. In the last game, you did get a DLC dress option, I seem to recall. However, what will happen with the Plush dress?
Yeah, so the new game Plus dress idea, are you saying Plush or Plus? I'm guessing that the idea here is that you'd play a new game and then you'd get to have all the dresses unlocked. And yes, in the last game, Mid Madness Returns, we did have some DLC dress options. That is correct. The question now, Fluffy Rabbit asks, is what will happen with the Plush dress? Now, the Plush dress is the dress that we are hooking up to the White Rabbit plush. And so if you purchase one of these, you will be mailed a code at the time that we release Alice Asylum, and that code will give you early access to a plush dress that's sort of inspired by the White Rabbit.
It's a good question, though. Can you activate the plush dress DLC on the first playthrough?
If you... Oh, I see. If you are running... Yeah, well, so this is one of those things that we had said. In the game, at the moment where you get the plush dress in-game, which is very early in the game, if you've activated it, you'll have the special one. And if you've not, you'll just have the standard one.
Ooh,
that was the answer we came up with. And there's actually a bit of art that goes along with that, but I'm not going to dig around in the folder right now. But the answer to your question is yes.
Okay. There you go. Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, have we taken care of all of the... Oh, there we go. There's another super chat. We're never going to get through all the art.
We're going to be here until like 8 p.m.
It's also time...
To Lucas Severin, thank you for the super chat. To get the Cheeto bunny dress, you have to find and get into a secret room guarded by McGee's insane children.
And then there'll be a recording that plays that says, "To defeat the boss, you must kill me, John Romero." We'll get John to be in the game as well. Okay, it is time.
Should put the Konami code in.
We should
to unlock some stuff.
It is time to do a contest, and we are going to be giving away a Pirate Jam waterproof bag into which you can stick all of your valuables, especially your pirate treasure maps. So, Martin, what is the thing that they should spam the chat with?
Guess who do you think is at the door?
Yes. Why don't you spam the chat with your guesses about who is at the door?
We're not expecting anything important, are we?
Well, don't give it away. So do spam the chat with who you think is at the door. There are no incorrect answers. This is just to get Nightbot to see your name for
if indeed it is working
for the giveaway.
God damn it, Nightbot!
It is.
Oh,
Nightbot is spamming up the chat.
Truth
there.
Decay. In the meantime, super chats. I've been curious. Would you say Alice is a determinist, fatalist, or free willy? Can I get the budget $5 answer, please? No pressure.
So I think that Alice falls into a category that is essentially her making reality out of her own her dreams, her thoughts. So she manifests reality around her, and I think that is probably not in the category of a fatalist. You're also not assuming that it is a predetermined universe in which she lives. I'm guessing that we would say she's more of a free willy. She is a free agent. She is not an NPC, as the kids now refer to some collection of people in the world. So yeah, very much she's an independent, free will, and reality manifesting type of character, very much like, say, Neo in the Matrix series. I mean, he was a person who first learned that he could manipulate the things going on in the Matrix, and then he realized he could manipulate things going on in the real world, and that is exactly the kind of character that we view Alice as.
There's your $5 answer.
There is your $5 answer.
Did people spam? They did. Look at all those people.
They are saying that a person is there. Dr. Livingston, I presume. It's God.
A ghost.
I hope it's not God. That would be... And which God would that be in China, by the way? Do you think Jesus would hop on a plane and fly all the way over here just to ring our doorbell in the middle of a live stream?
Maybe.
Maybe. You know, they do have Satan here, but they don't have the God you think of here in China.
Huh.
Avon. They do not have Avon. Oh, no, they do. I've seen an Avon car here. Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, for sure. Aren't they the ones with the pink cars? Anyway. All right, we're going to just roll it. All right, Nightbot, tell us who's going to win a waterproof bag. Sari.doll.
That name sounds familiar. I think we did Sari once before.
That sounds wrong, Martin. This is a family show. Let's not talk about doing our guests.
Okay.
But Sari.doll, congratulations, you have won. And the usual routine, you need to email us at mysterious@americanmcgee.com. Be sure to include your phone number, your name, the thing you've won, and a mailing address. And always keep in mind, if you provide your mailing address in a format which in any way confuses, upsets, disorients, or otherwise bothers us, you will not receive your prize. So do it in a human readable, normal fashion, please.
Do it good.
Do it good.
Yeah.
Do better.
Yes, well done.
Well done.
Well
Avon
done.
says Sari.doll. Okay, Sari, come on. Catch up. That must be the lag. All right, so moving on. Back to the Queen of Hearts throne. What I was saying was this is a combination of work done by Omri and inspired by the work done by Norman. And from what I gather in Omri's email, he spoke with Norman a bit about the original concept, the inspiration behind the Queen's throne. And he sought to kind of make the throne room a bit more in line with Norman's original concept. And so that's why it says here, kind of like a church.
Greg says we missed a super chat during the spam.
Well, that's what you get.
It's likely.
That's what you get for spamming in the midst of the super chat
We
storm.
can only scroll back so far.
Yeah, so if
tell us what it was.
If you guys can tell us what it was and who it was, please let us know, because we cannot scroll back that far. And just a pro tip for future super chats: maybe don't do them right in the middle of the spam storm.
We should start to give like a minute of warning before we do the spam.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, this is the Queen of Hearts throne room, and it's kind of like a church. Now, one of the things that I really like about this image, and actually there's a couple things going on here that I really like. Number one being that obviously someone of royal descent has been beheaded, and that head now lives. Now, whose head do you think that is?
Hard to say. It's a bit manky looking. Don't know.
Yeah. I'm wondering if that is the head of her own king. I think this will be something we'll have to bring up with Omri. The other thing that I really like about this is that we have the White Rabbit plush in here. Now, the reason we're doing this is because in the exploration of the narrative for Asylum, we have talked about the fact that upon meeting the Queen of Hearts, Alice will have her rabbit taken from her and held hostage. And this is how the Queen, in essence, conscripts Alice into her service. She says, look, you need to do something on my behalf, which is to go find the Mad Hatter, who's inventing something I can use to kill my foe, the other queen, the Red Queen. And Alice, of course, says, "Get bent, governor." And then in response, this queen, the Queen of Hearts, says, "Right, noink," and takes Alice's White Rabbit plush and says, "You can only get this back when you have done my bidding."
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
The plush is so soft and squishy, it could easily fit through those bars.
Oh, Martin.
Oh, my God, we've got so many super chats. Let's do this. Sakura Alcade super chats. Is the plush with DLC limited edition only? I mean,
Don't understand that question.
is the plush limited edition? I mean,
No.
not really.
We'll make the plushes and sell them up until the point that we, I guess, release the game.
But even then, the DLC that is attached to it is probably only going to be time locked. If you miss out on getting it via plush, it will be available later.
Yeah.
So you'll never miss the dress.
I don't know.
Is what we've said.
I don't really. Yeah, you'd never miss the dress. That's correct. The DLC limited. Oh, I see. Is the plush? No, this doesn't make any sense. The plush is not limited edition, and the DLC is not limited edition. Neither of them are limited edition.
No.
It's early access for the. It's early access for the DLC because we found that if we didn't do it that way, there would be pitchforks and and torches at the castle gates. And then also the White Rabbit plush is not limited edition because we're going to sell as many of them as we sell. I don't know, for forever.
So the answer is neither is limited.
Yeah,
So
okay.
don't worry.
That doesn't make any sense. Sorry, I'm confused. Sometimes I'm too literal, I think, and I read questions like that and I don't quite get where they're coming from. So that's my fault.
Liquid Fairy S, who is actually Nira K.
Hey, Nira K in her alternate account.
This is what it's about. I'm not sure we can help. I can't send comments here on my normal account. I only watch your live streams. What can I do to fix it?
Don't know.
Google.
Yeah.
Google it, noob.
Sadly, Nira, we are not tech support for YouTube or Super Chats. But thank you for the
yeah.
50 sec in the support question. Apologies that we cannot help you or transfer you to someone who can. Sean Carey is back.
Yay. Thanks for that, Sean. I didn't mean to be pushy when I asked about Unreal versus Unity. I'm sure the game will be awesome no matter what. I just wish that more AAA developers would embrace Unity, but I think you guys are doing a great job.
Well, Sean, that's a very fair point, and to be honest with you, I also wish that more developers would embrace Unity. I like Unity very much, not the least of which reason is because they sponsor Pirate Jam every year, and they send along a really cool technical advisor by the name of John, who comes out and helps all of our developers with their Unity projects. I like a lot of the people who are working at Unity. I know them very well. I also happen to like and know a lot of people working at Epic. I don't have sort of a horse in the race. Epic also funds Pirate Jam. They did last year. And so I understand, though, that, Unity is kind of viewed as maybe the dark horse, the up-and-comer, the scrappy fighter against the big evil Unreal Epic Corporation. And I do think it would be nice if more developers would embrace Unity, but I think we're probably going to start to see that happening more and more now that Unity is integrating a lot more of the tools that AAA developers are looking for. So
I think it does still have a little bit of a indie stigma attached to it, doesn't it?
It's not a stigma, it's a
No.
lack of features. It was a lack of features, yeah.
Ice Killer. Thank you for the super chat. Since your wife is a fashion designer, can she design a DLC dress? I know we already have too many dresses right now.
I don't know about that. She has and does design a lot of the products for Mysterious. And if you go and you look at, say, for instance, the Vorpal umbrella, there is my wife and a product that she's designed all on one page. So she helped to design actually, I think I designed that pattern. I think I did that in Illustrator. But anyway, she did help, though, with the sourcing and the manufacturing and everything related to the umbrella, and she does a lot of the other design for our purses and whatnot. I think that because she's now pregnant and she'll be taking some time off from work, we have talked about her being more involved with the production of products for Mysterious, and that would include we have talked about actually doing cosplay costumes and accessories, and especially related to the new game. So yeah, there's maybe a good chance that she could end up doing not just DLC dresses, but she could actually end up doing actual dresses and products, physical stuff that goes into the Mysterious shop. Yeah.
Here, Natalie Gwilbolt says we missed their super chat. I'm guessing that was during the spam.
Might have been.
So, Natalie, just say the thing you said and we'll keep an eye out for it.
We will try, but we can't scroll back into the spam storm. So
we can't.
We'll see.
Next one, Stitchin' Witch. Thank you for that. Dress seems integral to the aesthetic of each level as a stage of grief. Where can I send wedding and baby gifts for you? Your Queen of Hearts and Baby Lily.
Hand crocheted. Oh, that's very sweet. Well, Stitch and Witch, first of all, thank you for the super chat. We can just consider that a fine and functional wedding and baby gift. Appreciated very much. You don't have to send physical things to us, but if you feel that you must, then you simply email us mysterious@americanmcgee.com and we can work that out. Just keep in mind that sending stuff out of China, it's practically free, it's super easy, it's without any friction. Sending stuff into China, well, how would you describe sending stuff into China, Martin?
Although I've never had anything get lost coming into China, it takes a long time. And I believe that, most of the stuff gets opened and checked and stuff. So it's not a great process.
Yes.
Took a month for the last thing somebody sent me.
Yeah. So we don't recommend trying to send stuff to us here in China if you can avoid it.
Truth Decay super chat. I'm wearing a nice shirt, my t-shirt. It's my Thanos giving the finger.
There you go.
There you go. Take that, Avengers.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. I think have we caught up on all of the... Oh, no. We can't do art review like this. We're going to be straight into the next...
Fluffy Rabbit. Let's get through these. Will the code for the dresses with Plush work for all consoles? I know off topic. Will the design book be coming back soon on Mysterious? Yes, no reason why the DLC wouldn't work across consoles or
That's
games.
correct. It will work everywhere that the game works.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody wants this Madness Returns game design document. Yeah, Martin, how goes it with the printing of these?
The printing is going very slowly.
Okay.
Since we're not doing any yet.
All right.
Let's do some.
Well, you need to, Fluffy Rabbit, you need to poke this guy a bit to go and get some printed. I think that was on the to-do list before I went off to Pirate Jam, but
I think it was.
These things, I thought you said you were going to go to a new print shop for that or something.
Not for books, just
okay.
for like prints.
Cool.
But they seemed expensive.
Alrighty. Hey, look, there's your favorite question. Does anybody know if I should have received my 335?
Yes, you should.
You know,
did them last week.
The best place to send those messages would actually be Patreon. There's a private message function over there, and you just PM us and we can let you know.
I do get a bit tetchy when people email us about stuff not on the site.
Yeah.
So when they email us through Facebook and they ask a Patreon question, it's like, good, ask us through Patreon, god damn it.
I mean, I get this on Instagram all the time. So people will come to my Instagram and then they'll post on an image that's like, say, 5 or 6 months old, and they'll say, I never got my order. Now on Instagram, their name will be something like, Fluffy Bunny Head. And of course, they didn't order from Mysterious or get a Patreon thing under the name Fluffy Bunny Head. And then they don't put anything of any context in there, not the order number, nothing. And you think it's amazing that I even saw the notification. Because like when I post something on Instagram, it'll get thousands of comments and likes and whatever. And then everything scrolls off the end, just like with the chats here. And so every once in a while, I'll see one of these. And I'm always curious, like how many of them actually get just lost in the ether. People posting on a random Instagram post, like, I didn't get my thing. This is not...
What thing? Where did you buy it? What's your tracking number? What's your ID? What email did you use? God damn it.
I don't understand. All right. Natalie asks a question.
Here it is, the missing question. Sorry for that, Natalie. Will she still have hysteria mode?
We have talked about hysteria mode, and we've also talked about a kind of rage mode, and we've talked about a chaos mode.
There will be many modes,
There will be possibly many, many modes. And so this is something we've been talking about in our weekly crowd design sessions. And I do think that this came up in one of the previous crowd design sessions. So maybe go and scroll back on my YouTube channel and check those out. I think we did talk about that a bit, but I think as of right now, the idea is that we would have a kind of hysteria, rage, and then something else, chaos, or something specific to the dresses. But a lot of this stuff is getting outlined also over on the Asylum Wiki. So if you go to the Asylum Wiki, that's at AmericanMcGee.com, and then you scroll down, you will see that there are all kinds of things related to damage, collectibles, power-ups. And so if we go click on power-ups, for instance, let's see what's in there. Look at that. There's cakes, there's stuffed rabbits, there's clocks. These are
vials.
Emotional vials. This is rage, sorrow, joy. So we are working through this right now, and we are thinking about how the collection of these vials, for instance, would fill up a rage meter or other counter, and then that would allow you to trigger one of these modes at any time. But a lot of these areas we still really need to work on filling in, and that's why we're doing the crowd design sessions.
So quick answer, probably yes.
Yes. Oh boy.
Sakura Alcade is back again. Thank you for the answer. Sorry it was confusing. I didn't know how long I had to order the plush. Will Alice 1 and 2 ever be remade for newer consoles?
I'll let you answer both of those.
So, I mean, you've got lots of time to order the plush. Don't worry about that. Don't lose any sleep about that. Alice 1 and 2 remade. That is kind of a thing that we want to do. We want to have it as part of Alice Asylum. There's no solid answer yet, but it's a definitely we want to answer.
Correct.
I think lots of people would certainly appreciate that.
That is very correct.
So if we all collectively cross our fingers, it might happen.
Yeah, ideally we ship Alice Asylum with the first 2 games bundled together. That would be, for me, that would be the dream. That would be the hope. But there's a lot of obstacles and hurdles we have to overcome, not the least of which are legal and licensing obstacles, and not the least of which would be technical obstacles. So yeah, we'll see. In and out.
We have more. In and out. Thank you for the super chat. A friend of mine at EA said that the reason Unity wasn't embraced by AAA game companies is because it couldn't handle as many assets as Unreal. That might change with its new entity component system.
Yeah, it's not just a question of the assets, but also the items attached to the assets. So say, for instance, the number of animations and the complexity of the animations. There were certain limitations in there for sure. So there have been a lot of reasons why Unity wasn't embraced, and they are doing things, as I said, to bring the engine closer to where it needs to be for that kind of embracing.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go. Did we catch up?
Nope.
No.
Poke.
Fluffy Rabbit.
He's poking
Poke.
you. That's a 2-pound poke.
Poke. Mr. Oxlong super chats us.
Welcome back, Mike. It's been a while.
Will any of the coders from Pirate Jam also be working on Asylum?
Don't think so. Certainly hasn't been discussed. Well, that's not really true. I take that back. If you watch the Pirate Jam videos, you'll see that involved in Pirate Jam this year and last is our good friend Tomas. And Tomas, both years, was working inside of Unreal. And it turns out that Tomas worked on Alice Madness Returns, and he is still closely connected to our circle here in Shanghai, and he does join us for Pirate Jam, and he is included in the pitch that we're making for the new studio and the new game. So, yes, Mike. Yes.
Yes.
Somehow, yes. That can be a yes. It could be. Although he's not a coder, he's a designer. He's a level designer. Oh my God, we're completely caught up.
Just have a quick scroll back for my own peace of mind.
Man.
So we did that, and that, and that. I think, I think we're good.
Woo! Okay,
Woo.
let's try to get back into
Woo-wee.
some art review then.
Yeah, because it's been an hour and we've done 2 pictures.
Yeah, and we still have quite a lot to do here. So next up, and this would actually, I think this one got shown not long ago, but this is, again, Omri plus the work of Norman on the topic of the Queen. And so, this whole section of the game and the character designs and whatnot are getting worked on. Again, I'm really a huge fan of this. I kind of feel like this would be a really cool sort of resin toy prop set thing to make.
Would it have characters that could sit in it that went along with it?
What if it was like a phone charger or something?
Right.
Yeah.
You laugh.
No, it would
Actually,
work.
If
That would
if
totally
that was
work.
like a wireless phone charger,
That would be
at
awesome.
The Red Queen's throne.
I mean, I would.
That would sell.
And you could imagine that for the different wires that need to plug into your phone, they would be red wires like tentacles, and they could into the bottom of your phone like that.
Is that the noise?
That's the noise that a USB cable makes going into your phone. All right,
Stitching
Wins
in
is back.
which have you considered? Have you considered a lacrimosa as one of the potion vials? Considering the theme of the game, it is a Victorian tear collector.
I don't
Have you heard of that?
I don't
thing
think that a
before?
lacrimosa has been mentioned. I'm going to say that as if I know definitively how to say that. But no, I don't think that that's ever come up. But it's a good point that's made. Maybe Stitch and Witch, you could join in over on the wiki, and you could put that into the comments, because I believe that if you sign up to be a member of the wiki, how does that work? Anyway, you can make comments on the various wiki pages.
I think you can be on the wiki regardless.
I think so.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Bats and Tombstones say they would buy that as a phone charger.
Me too. All right. Now this image came through from Omri, and he spent pretty much, I think, 2 or 3 weeks working on this. And the email that he sent me at the end was really funny. It was almost as if this image had killed him in the rendering of it. But I do want to take a moment to say that this is one of the things that I really love about working with our artists, and especially when we get to spend some period of time working with them as they develop as artists. And this was something that I saw, for instance, when we worked with Ken Wong. When I first met Ken, he was quite young. He was not somebody who had ever been in the games industry. His art showed, for me, what I saw, and it was incredible promise, like just absolutely beautiful surrealism and style. But you know, he was, at the time where I met him, he was quite nervous about his approach and what he was doing, and whether or not he even wanted to be an artist professionally and full time. And with Omri, I've kind of seen a similar thing, where over months and years, and you're watching this guy as his art style, his voice kind of comes out more and more, and also his technical ability kind of catches up with his imagination, and then his imagination leaps forward and his abilities catching up. And anyway, I have to say, I think this is probably the most solid expression of many of his talents that I've ever seen in one image. And it's just beautiful. And this is, of course, a scene from within Asylum, where we have Shadow Alice, and of course she's the one with the tentacles for arms, as you do, tentacles everywhere, fighting with, or collaborating with, or otherwise engaged with in some slimy fashion. There appears to be blood in the exchange here. Am I incorrect in seeing?
There's something going on.
Yeah, but this is with sort of regular Alice and tentacle Alice. And of course, what they're engaged with here is the sort of the loss of the queen. And this image is titled "Sacrifice Your Queen." And I ended up writing up quite a large piece of my thinking on the concept of sacrifice, inspired by what Omri had done here. Anyway, this will, I think, be a pivotal moment in the game, and it's a pretty incredible piece of art.
It's fantastic.
And are we not offering this?
Well, yes, this was just mentioned again by Bats asking if this is the next print. Yes, it is. So if you are a patron now, or sign up now at the correct level, which is 75 and above, or indeed if you're at the 3 for 35 tier, and then if you are charged at the beginning of next month, this is the print you can have. So, yay.
But also, if they do the 3 for 35 thing starting even now, and then do 3 months of that, they can select this print at some point in the future.
Yes.
This print is unlocking now. You could just straight up buy it on the Mysterious Shop, or you could do the 3 for 35 thing, or you could do the 75 thing this month.
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
Correct.
It's all kinds of confusing.
Carlos Torres, thank you for the super chat. If the first 2 games will be bundled with Asylum, are they going to be digital or physical for a collector's edition?
I don't think I can't imagine there being a physical bundled copy at the point where this game is released, though. I mean, I guess there could be some sort of crazy collector's edition thing, but the idea that the collector's edition thing would contain a disc or something for the various platforms at that point, does that even make any I don't know, maybe.
I would imagine that Alice
all
1 and 2
stuff.
would be download.
It'd be all download stuff. And I'm not saying that like to stick it to the collectors. I mean, I would imagine, so like if I were a collector of this kind of stuff, what I'm kind of curious about is like why can't we buy a box that's a collector's edition that's got like all kinds of cool stuff in it? It's got like a toy in it. It's got a chaos coin or whatever in it. I'm looking around all this physical stuff that we're making. Why does it have to be linked to just any platform, right? Why couldn't you do that and then get a code in there that is for the particular platform that you want? I mean, I know a lot of people out there are like, no, I want the physical thing. But do you?
It's a good point. Like maybe somebody buys it for like PlayStation, but they think, I'm not all that bothered about Alice 1 and 2, so I'll give the DLC code to my friend who's got an Xbox and uses the code to download there. Interesting.
I don't know, Carlos. It's an interesting question, but just to be really clear, I mean, our perspective when coming at something like this is I want to make cool collector's stuff for sure. I mean, I love physical collector items. We don't want to screw the physical collector audience. I just would think that we'd try to find a way to have the physical collecting thing, but maybe avoid the sort of locking to particular platforms somehow. Anyway, I don't know. That's an unformed thought, so let's be very careful with that right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can
we? There's so much going by
we're
here.
Fine. We're fine.
Okay, we're good.
People having this bit of a sing-song.
Yes, they love the tentacles. They love Are they singing?
They were.
It is time for a contest.
Look at that.
So let's
don't super chat because we're about to spam.
Yeah, let's don't super chat. That would be a really bad idea right now. So we're going to be giving away a waterproof bag. Let me know in the chat here, not a super chat. Let us know in the chat what precious item you would protect inside of your waterproof bag. Oh God, why would you do that?
God damn it, Priscilla.
Why would you do that, Priscilla? We just were saying don't super chat.
Lag, I guess.
It must be the lag.
Have you seen the Sekiro Collection Edition? It comes with a figure, a scroll, and some coins. I think something like this would be nice.
I think that would be absolutely fantastic.
I haven't seen it in person, but I have seen that collector's edition probably in a YouTube video or something.
This is the stuff that we're getting to be really good at. We have these, this is the Pirate Jam coin of last year. We actually did a new one of these for this year. And of course you can buy this as a Chaos coin, although I don't have a Chaos coin here. I mean, that's the box that the Chaos coin comes in, right? So you could imagine, is there a Chaos coin in there? Yeah, there's a stand. There's a bag. It's got a coin inside. It's got the stand. Of course, we're doing the rabbits. Of course, we're doing I just realized the other day we're doing so much stuff. We're doing the patches. So what I want to do is collector's edition that's got all that crap in there because we've got so much cool stuff. You can imagine right now, essentially a box that would have belonged to Alice as a child, and inside is like her little fluffy Cheshire cat, her fluffy rabbit, her little chaos coin, her
PlayStation discs.
Yes, her PlayStation, the oldie Victorian PlayStation discs. All right, so what would people protect inside of their bag? Spam. I think that's a good idea. Phone,
spam,
yes, egg, chaos coin, cat.
Wallet.
Don't put your cat in a waterproof bag. You know that waterproof bags are also airproof. That's not
airproof.
I'd secure my perfect girlfriend. Again, don't put living things in the waterproof bag. Laptop,
phone,
Switch, marbles, plush, phone, sketchbook, dinner, Moulin Rouge. I don't know why you would put Moulin Rouge in there, but okay.
Hey.
Alrighty.
Mike's back.
Our good friend Mike is back. So with that, let's just go ahead and roll it. Carlos Zamora has won the waterproof bag. Congratulations, Carlos. You know the drill. You need to email mysterious@americanmcgee.com. Include your phone number, your name, the thing you've won, and your address in a human-readable, non-frustrating, non-angering, non-confusing format. And then we'll send you your prize.
Well, Mike... the last time that I visited Notre Dame Cathedral was the 12th of Never. Never been.
I see.
Never been to France.
I see. I went there. That would have been 7 years ago. Went to the Louvre, went to Notre Dame, walked along the Seine, did all of the things that...
Did you do all those accents while you were there?
Yes, I did all those things. I remember, because you're standing on one side of, I guess that's the Seine. there's a canal or a river, but it's then on the other side of that is Notre Dame, and then there's all these little kind of carts filled with art books and guys out there hawking various there's both literature and then there's books of art and architecture and things like that. Then there's cafes, and it's very quintessential Paris. And of course, at the time, Notre Dame was not on fire, so that made it a little more better.
I had the chance of going. There was a Christmas party back when I worked at Infogrames.
Wow.
But that was when I was scared of flying, so I said no.
Well,
silly me.
Back when you were, does that suggest that you're no longer scared of flying?
It's true. I don't mind flying, quite like it.
I see. Alrighty. Moving back to art review. This is the image I used to announce the start of the stream today. This is the Queen of Red Heart, as Joey puts it. And it basically is the Queen of Hearts. Now, of course, this is very much in the style of the Queen of Hearts that we had in the original Alice game. And she features some fairly nice tentacle action. Underneath her mask, of course, this white thing here, is a face of, how would you describe that?
Scary. But I'm getting the strong Doctor Who vibe from that face.
Really?
Yeah, maybe there was an alien or a character I can't quite put my finger on. But yeah, when I see it, I'm thinking Doctor Who.
Huh.
Back when it was good, before they ruined it in season 11.
Interesting. Well, I don't know that I know what you're talking about there, but I do really like this character. She is going to play a very big role in the new game, and we are doing a lot of work to define her look and feel and the look and feel of the area which she occupies. So I'm glad to see our artists doing some good work on that. And of course, I do love tentacles. My hope is that where we sort of set a bar for hair technology in Alice Madness Returns, that we might in the new game set a bar for tentacle technology. And I'm not saying that in a joking fashion. Like, I honestly think that one of the key components to the wow factor of the new game, especially in traversing this domain, or perhaps throughout the entire game, if you could imagine that wherever you go in Wonderland in this game, tentacles could rise up out of the scenery and give you what for. And especially if we did them in a really stunning and beautiful way, really dynamic, that'd be pretty cool.
Setting the bar for tentacle technology.
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah, you got to aspire to something, right?
B-Nuts says the Queen's face is a butt. There, I said it.
B-Nuts, your face is a butt. All right. So this is more of Joey's exploration of the tentacles. And of course, she does have it here. The tentacles are coming tong, tong, tong.
Tong, tong, tong.
Tong. Why don't we just call it Alice Tong, Tong, Tong?
Maybe.
I'm going to get you, says Tentacle Queen.
She probably could as well with all those tentacles.
So I think that in order to accomplish this in any kind of realistic and wonderful fashion, we are going to need the kind of tentacle technology that I've just described.
Does anyone out there know if there is tentacle plugins for like engines and stuff?
Yeah, I mean,
they must be. I don't know.
Surely there's a kind of organic, floppy limb technology that's not going to be difficult. I think we can get this done, and we'll do it in a really convincing way. Yeah. So yeah, this is Joey outlining a couple of different potential attacks for the Queen. Normal attack, the Tong 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 ground attack, the summon card guards attack. Now, I like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I
think this concept in general is growing on me, though. Remember in Madness Returns that the sort of ubiquitous enemy, the constant threat, was coming from the ruin. And I think that we could have the idea of these tentacles being your constant annoyance, your antagonist throughout the game. I think that'd be pretty cool.
They're just always there.
Well, they can always
looming,
be there. Exactly.
Right? Maybe on insane difficulty mode. Ice Killer is back. Have you heard of NVIDIA Omniverse? It is a collab platform like a Google Doc for 3D production, where you can do color, skeleton, etc. all at once without having to do them step by step.
Yes, I have heard of this.
Have you? I have not.
Yeah, these are in a suite of lots of products being made these days for online digital collaboration for virtual office and virtual design environments, and it's something that we're certainly looking into. Lots of companies are working on this kind of thing. One of the problems like that we have here in China is oftentimes that our connection to the world outside, where the primary servers for these things might exist, is obviously throttled and limited. So being in China can kind of throw up an obstacle to our playing with these things early on. But this is one of the reasons why we're interested in Thailand, because they don't have those kind of barriers there. So we'll see.
Okay. Truth Decay says you can always plug in tentacles.
Yes, I was thinking that when you said that as well. There's a joke. There's a joke in there somewhere. When X-Girl wants to know, do you mean Empress Racnus from Doctor Who?
I don't know who I mean. I'm thinking whatever the bloody hell her name was. The last human. The really thin piece of skin, perhaps. Whatever she was called. I forget her name.
I don't know. Are you being insulting by saying a thin piece of skin? Or are you being...
No, that's actually what she was. She was like a thin, stretched piece of skin. The last human.
Oh.
No, not the spider lady.
I see. Because I think that the comment here is in reference to this horrible looking thing. And
yeah, I wasn't thinking that.
no,
What was she playing?
Martin wasn't thinking that.
What was she called?
What was who called?
Yeah, the thin skin.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You're gonna
I'll
have
get
to
it.
wait for the.
I'll get it.
Yeah, this is not. This isn't really okay.
Fluffy Rabbit is back. Thank you for that. Will the game still have the same level of collectibles in? I love the idea of a Digi Collector's PS4. I really wish they would remaster the other Alice. Kind of just talked about that.
Collectibles, we mean as in-game collectibles?
Well,
Or do we mean as in physical merchandise?
Sounds like saying in-game.
Okay, well, I guess the answer in this case, though, for either item, in-game or physical, is yes. We intend to put lots of in-game collectibles. We also intend to put lots of physical, real-world collectibles. So, yes. There you go.
Is it Cassandra?
Her name was Cassandra, says BLK Butterfly.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, and why is this of interest?
Just for that face.
The face. Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking that.
I don't know what's going on here. So this thing got this is an actual thing that somebody got stretched into a thin piece of skin.
Well, the thing is that to survive, they just kept having more and more plastic surgery until there was nothing left.
And you were able to watch this with a straight face?
Yeah.
I see.
Back when Doctor Who was still all tongue-in-cheek and fun.
Was this fun?
It was fun.
Is that lasagna?
It is.
I don't know if I could eat that. Alrighty. Well, let's get back to art review. So this image...
Have a super chat.
Alrighty. This image was shared to us by Joey. And this is coming from, I guess we're calling the Circus domain. Now, this is a section of the game in which the Tweedles kidnap Alice and push her to service inside of a circus. And in that time, she's going to be made to wear the circus dress, which was one of our more controversial dress designs. And people said, Alice would never wear that. That's terrible. And the point was, yes, you're right. Alice would never wear that. It is terrible. That's why she's forced to wear it. Anyway, this domain would be full of all kinds of creepy labyrinth rides and circus elements. And this image Joey presented, I think, contains a couple of things I'm a really big fan of. First of all, I don't want to do too much of it, but I do like the sort of on-track rides through crazy environments, right?
Yep.
What do you think about those?
I think it's all right to have some.
Yeah, not too many.
Yeah.
But I think you can do some pretty cool stuff in terms of having the player fire from a platform like this as it moves through an environment. And you can do all kinds of really cool things with sort of timing of near misses and explosions, and you can have a bunch of sort of money shots, and you know what I'm saying? It can be quite cool. So
I think so.
So we'll likely have something like that.
Like that shark.
Well, so this is the other thing I was going to say I really like. And by the way, is that a Trump shark? Is this supposed to be like?
I don't think so.
No, okay. But what I was going to say was this gave me an idea that we ought to start a line of items like this at Mysterious. Make physical, creepy doll, half portrait kind of sticking out of frames.
Right.
Because if you told me that I could go to a shop and buy a collection of like skulls and screwy, scary butterflies and doll parts sticking out of frames and like Trump sharks, and I could fill up our space down here with these on the wall, man, I would be all over that. I mean, it's always surprising to me. One of the things that we actually sell quite a lot of are these skulls, right? I mean, I think we kind of put those into the shop as a bit of a, was it a joke? I can't remember.
Joke, but it was just a little silly thing to see how it would do.
But they sell incredibly well. Like we sell tons of these. I'd say that we probably sell 4 or 5 of these a week, actually. Wow. And I mean, every time I turn around and have to do the fulfillment, we run out and I have to order 5 more. And so anyway, yeah, we sell these things and they come with a little certificate, and you know, I sign the certificate, and anyway, and you can put this on a desk. And I think we have one. Yeah, there's one there. So I was thinking, why not take this one step further and make items that are actually like that skull, but inserted on a frame, and then maybe somehow made kind of official, and you can buy them and stick them on your wall.
That would be good. But depending on the size, they might be hell to ship.
Right.
Oh, well. Yeah, they would be good.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay.
Super chats. Sean Carey is back again. Thanks for that. When American worked at id, does he remember whether or not John Carmack had his coders follow any sort of design philosophy, such as the solid principles or the agile methodology?
No, because back in 1994, we didn't have development or design philosophies because the industry didn't exist. I mean, it was sort of like everyone was just building from scratch everything. So we didn't have development philosophies, coding philosophies, design. I mean, I remember there were kind of elements of style type books for coding in C that gave you the basics for like, hey, comment your code, hey, indent a certain number of spaces, you know, for each new line inside of brackets. It was really, really rudimentary stuff.
It's like the Wild West.
It really was. So no, we didn't have agile development. We didn't have solid. We didn't have Scrum. We didn't have any of that stuff. Sorry, okay. Sorry, Sean.
Big Mood says, moisturize me. That's a Doctor Who thing.
Oh, I see. Well, there's an eye and mouth and eye moisturize. All right, thank you, Big Mood. Okay, let's hope that we have...
I'm sure we missed.
Yeah, that is not Trump, says B Nuts. You wouldn't know. I could tell you that is Trump. It's our art. Okay.
Fluffy Rabbit or Creepy Dolls?
Yes.
What was the beginning of that sentence?
I think it was related to the idea of having these frames.
All right.
And having skulls and whatnot. And so, yes, I think that having creepy doll parts poking out of the frames would be very, very cool.
It would.
There you go. Now, Trumpy Shark has taken off. I think we...
Hashtag Trumpy Shark.
I think so. Okay, so the amusement park, she has described it as an amusement part, but that's okay. Joey is not English as a first language, so we do not concern ourselves with her sometimes hilarious misspellings that I think bring a lot of positive kind of spice to the things that she does. So we will not correct her on these. Alice saw some specimens in her dad's friend's home. So these are the bones, dead animals, Yeah, exactly. These are the frames on the walls that then led to darkness in her subconscious. So that's where
there's a reason for it, because people would say, "Did Alice see these things? How could she imagine them?"
Correct. Now, she has put together here some QuickTime events.
Whee!
How do you, with the audience in the chat there, how do you feel about QuickTime events? And how do you, Martin, sitting here next to me, feel about QuickTime events? Because, I mean...
I don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, like, the Nathan Drake, games, I mean, they're full of these... Uncharted. They're full of these really hyper scripted, really gorgeous sort of on-tracks shooting and all kinds of QuickTime events. And, I mean, they're pretty awesome when they're done right?
Yeah. I think as long as they don't just jump out and suddenly there's a QuickTime event that you weren't expecting.
That I hate.
But I mean, if it was obvious that you are in a sort of an on-railsy scripted set piece type area, then yeah, I mean, why not? And again, as long as they were fine, in terms of timing, you didn't have like 0.1 seconds or you died.
I think this is a general design rule that we should follow. Duck down to avoid danger from above. It's shaking.
I knew it.
I knew it. Shoot an enemy. Bang. Shoot on a switch. Bang. I like this kind of stuff. So this is very Indiana Jones.
Joey's great.
Sort of minecart ride through the amusement park of horrors. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this. I think this could be a really amazing section in the game.
I think so.
Yeah.
Super chats. Several. Jennifer King. Random question. Will the mock turtle or the walrus and the carpenter make an appearance?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, to all those things. We are working on the mock turtle. Actually, in this week's design session, the crowd design session, we did discuss the idea of the hub for Alice Asylum, and I think that we kind of smashed together a couple of ideas. Our insane children, some of them suggested a library, some suggested a rail station, some suggested a brain, and me, in my way of smashing things together, said why not have it be a train station made out of books, which represents the inside of Alice's mind. And everybody went, wah! And so we're going to have our
brain
artists...
station.
Yes, a brain station. So we're going to have our artists work on that. And we are now thinking also that who better to run the train station than the mock turtle? So I think Omri or Joey or one of these guys, Norm, are going to be working on an illustration to illustrate that point. Much like Joey has done here with an illustration, and it is showing a train. It's quite a sugary...
Fruit train.
It's a little bit of a healthy train. It's sort of, one of those Candy Rock Mountain trains made out of unhealthy bits, but then it's pulling along oranges and apples and bananas. Yeah. That's okay. So yeah, this is an illustration that Joey has done.
That face on the Ferris wheel.
An awful lot of detail in the face of this child.
That face certainly needs to follow you.
To look at you.
Look at you as you going around. Just to creep you out.
That's a good idea. So yeah, this is one of the areas around the circus domain. This feels like a fairly tranquil, perhaps the entrance to the circus domain.
Seems kind of mellow, doesn't it?
Yes.
What's going on over here with chat? I want to know what B-Nuts is saying here. Just off the bottom. Well, I can't read all the comments. There's a lot. In and out, super chats. What kind of boss was John Carmack? There's rumors that around the time that Quake was starting to ship, he was starting to get a little testy with some of his employees.
I believe that it's public record of his sort of personality being, he's quite introverted. He's highly unemotional, and I think that it has been suggested that he is somewhere on the autism spectrum, that, being of the kind of technical, mathematical genius that he is, there's something quite special about his brain. And I don't know that, being testy would necessarily describe it. I mean, he would express frustration about things not going along as smoothly or quickly as he'd like, but he wasn't the kind of like blow up in an emotional rage type of person. At least I never saw him do that. I never saw him in a sort of emotional outburst beyond frustration at people not meshing and operating as he would think that a fully functional, highly efficient machine ought to do. So yeah, I don't know. I think my experience, obviously, I'm biased because he was the person who opened the door that allowed me to enter into the games industry. And without that kindness, I would not be sitting here right now next to Martin talking about making another Alice game. I always found him to be a perfectly wonderful boss and a kind human being. I also think that it was the case that he probably had to study and affect a lot of his interactions, because I don't believe that it all came to him very naturally. And that's not to say that that's a bad thing. I think there are plenty of people in the world who sort of go through life not having social interactions and emotions come to them in the same way that, say, very extroverted people have them come about, right? So he was at this end of the scale in terms of introversion and emotion, but I think he managed all that quite well.
Yeah. There you go. Very thorough.
It was $10 worth of answer. Okay. We do have a couple of people saying stuff here about in QTEs. Yeah.
Greg said he hates them.
Oh, sorry, Greg. Well, we're going to make an especially horrible one based on a junk just for you. Okay.
Fluffy Rabbit back again. Thank you for that. Creepy Jester Doll might be Sunglasses Kiss. The Teacup Rails. Lovey eyes.
I don't understand.
I think... Jester Doll... Well, whatever it is, the creepy Jester Doll apparently looks good to Fluffy Rabbit.
Great. So
thank you.
In this image, Joey confirms our suspicion that the start image here, which is the big wheel, as she describes it, would be the sort of calm and cool and quiet start to this domain, to the circus domain. So Alice enters into the circus domain riding upon, is that a swan?
It's a swan.
Fair to call it a swan.
I think so.
So gently riding along a swan across a tranquil pond and then through some bit of jungle, at which point the swan transforms magically into a teacup, which rushes along the track into, oh no,
it's getting scary.
Oh, it's going into the haunted house. That's not good. And yeah, I mean, I've actually been through something like this. This is something, I was in Malaysia, I think, and it was a sort of Malaysian Buddhist hell house of horrors, and it was pretty freaking terrifying. I think I might have put a YouTube video up about that trip and that house of horrors. So if you want to go see that, go to my YouTube channel and check that out. Anyway, so we then see this hallway filled with all the dead things. And then we're going to end up in the botanical room. So now
the botanical room.
This is an image I know that she's working on a full detail version of. So we'll see some variation on that relatively soon. But I like this. Now, when I was a kid, and then also later on in life, I remember very vividly going to places that were sort of these interior botanical gardens, and they had birds and fish and all. Have you been to one of those?
Yeah, I've been to. We have one back home. So yeah, quite like them for just strolling around.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure how that fits into this realm, but we'll find out. Now, she switches her mode of transport from the teacup to a straight up slide. Now, this makes me shudder because we did have a slide in the previous game, and I was not a big fan. I was not a big fan of that sliding section. So we'll want to make sure we get that right. But that then does become the final area, which is what she's described as a boss fight, and that is Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Now, I have to say this sort of representation of the entire domain as a sort of one big long on rails thing, I don't know if I can get on board with. I think I'd like to be able to get off and walk around and explore this place, have a bit of story. Yeah, so I think we're going to have to kind of go back and forth with Joey on this and define what's contained within and what it is Alice is doing and who she's talking to, like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Timothy J. Mio comes back with a double super chat. So thank you for that. Biggest QuickTime event user experience issue is the penalty for failure. Nothing worse for immersion than redoing a 3-minute segment over and over because you keep missing one tricky button press.
Agree 1000%.
Maybe you don't fail. You just fail to collect some things that you might need for getting a trophy or an achievement.
Yeah, so I think that that's correct. I think that we are not fans of these sort of razor thin margins for success on whether it be a jump or a button press on a QTE. We're just not making those kinds of games, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. Timothy, thank you for that super chat and that suggestion. We will avoid that issue like the plague.
What was his second part?
I do want to point out that Overstart is saying that it's botanical, not biotanical, and he's correct.
We know
that.
We're just joshing at Joey's spelling.
Exactly. As I had said in the preamble about her spelling, was that I actually like the way her spelling kind of mixes things up. So, but thank you for pointing that out there, Overstart.
Timothy goes on to say, I think it's always cooler when you get to actually see the effects of failure, take damage, injury, animation, etc., and then continue rather than dying and have to restart. Yeah.
Agreed.
Makes sense.
I think we're all on the same QTE button press page.
I think we are.
We are.
Alice on Elm Street, super chats us, thank you. What if before the ride turns into a roller coaster, the... Scroll... What if before the ride turns into a roller coaster, there's a voiceover of her father's friend talking about the specimens and exotic locations?
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I think as we go through that that tunnel of skulls and bones, and to hear a voiceover in there that harkens back to some ye olde British scientific-y guy talking about all the botanical things.
Who could we get to voice that?
Maybe you.
David Attenborough.
Maybe you. Yeah.
Maybe.
All right. Good. I think we've handled most of the...
Mike's back.
Uh-oh.
What are some YouTube channels that American subscribes to?
I subscribe to quite a lot of YouTube channels, actually. I think Martin likes to come over here to my YouTube and see my suggestions that are popped open, because I tend to subscribe to lots of left and right politics. So, for instance, I subscribe to the Young Turks, even though I don't agree with most of the things that they talk about. I like to subscribe to Ben Shapiro, who would be on the opposite side of the political spectrum from him, from the Young Turks, even though I also don't agree with all the things that he says. I subscribe to MSNBC and Rachel Maddow, even though I think she's a bit off the rails at times. And I also watch Tucker Carlson on Fox. I do the same on Twitter. I follow Trump, but I also follow Hillary Clinton. I follow all over the place people in the games industry who are what you might consider far left game industry personalities, like Anita Sarkeesian. I also follow people that are on the right of the political spectrum in the games industry. I'm trying to think of some suggestions of names there, but like Sargon of Akkad, who I think he's been banned from Twitter now. But and I think I've actually seen people call me out for this. They'll say, why on earth would you listen to both sides of the whatever? One of the reasons is that, and Martin I think can attest to this, being in China, we live in a sort of social and information vacuum as it pertains to what's happening in the world outside. Also, being in China, we're very well aware of the fact that when you have a singular source of all the information about what's happening in the world, that being, say, for instance, the Chinese government and the Chinese news system, you're not getting all sides of stories. You're not getting a very balanced view of what's happening with the cool kids or with the kids or with things in general. So I tend to take a very wide kind of input because I don't want to miss out on the context of the cultural zeitgeist. Like, why is this side upset? What are they upset about? Why is that side upset at this side? You know, I find all that stuff to be really fascinating. So anyway.
There you go.
There you go.
That's the channels Americans subscribe to.
I mean, there's a lot of science stuff I've subscribed to, music stuff, video editing stuff, games stuff. You know, we subscribe to The Know, and I subscribe
Inside Gaming now.
Inside Gaming now. But I also subscribe to this guy, The Quartering, and he's got a very kind of anti-SJW bent. And I mean, I find a lot of times, like, I watch this stuff, I find that I can only watch so much of it before I get kind of tired of everybody being angry at everybody. But it does seem like that's kind of what content is all about. You're either angry on the right or you're angry on the left, and it's very difficult to find anything in the middle. So.
Oh no, lag.
Oh no.
I did just see it go a bit red.
Well.
Scroll back.
All right,
we missed something.
I do think we need to do a contest.
Oh, we do, but let's not get that super chat scrolled away. Fluffy Rabbit. Yep, that's the only one. No more super chats yet. Let's get this one out of the way. We'll do some contests. Fluffy Rabbit. Can she not get off at the stops in different locations and explore, then get back on? I love the teacup rails. And the other bit, what was about a jester doll for merch. I am fond of him. Right. Well,
yeah.
Get off the rides.
For sure. I think that's what we want to put into this is stops, stations, and that Alice can hop off in multiple locations. And maybe that's what Joey has in mind here, where we're seeing a change in the mode of transportation that might suggest that somewhere in this area she actually gets out of this and hops into that, and in between there's a bit of walking and talking going on.
Yeah why not?
There you go.
Ooh.
We are getting hit with a lot of lag.
Oh my god, 0.
Well, let's try to do a contest, even though we are being
Do we need to do 2? Because Carlos never replied.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Reply and spam with
your favorite YouTube channel. And don't say mine. You can say any other YouTube channel. But let's also try not to put any super chats in the middle of this. And if you could please just spam with your favorite YouTube channel. That would be great.
What's happening?
There's a ton of
stream.
Yeah, I think our VPN is dying.
Well,
so yeah, try to spam it up with your favorite YouTube channel, and we're gonna give away another one of these here bags. And that is